Welcome back to Social Psychological Facts, where we teach men how to handle challenges in life and relationships. Today we're exposing a hard truth. Once you lose value in a woman's eyes, she stops seeing you the same way. Her respect fades, her attraction weakens, and suddenly you're no longer the man she once admired. Maybe you've been there before. At first, she was excited about you, texting back fast, eager to see you, making an effort. But over time, something changed. Now she takes longer to respond, her energy feels distant, and she doesn't seem as invested. You start feeling like you're chasing her attention, trying to win back what used to come naturally. Sound familiar? Or maybe you had her full devotion, but you got too comfortable. You let yourself go, physically, mentally, or emotionally. You stopped being the confident, ambitious man she was drawn to. You started seeking validation instead of leading the relationship, and now she's lost respect, and you can feel it. Here's what most men get wrong: they panic. They think the answer is to beg, explain, or shower her with more affection, but that only lowers your value further. The truth is, attraction is built on perception. And once a woman sees you as weaker, needier, or less of a challenge, the dynamic shifts. She may still talk to you, but deep down she's already looking elsewhere. So how do you fix it? How do you raise your value again, not just in her eyes, but in your own? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to regain respect, rebuild attraction, and make her see you as the man she can't afford to lose. Let's get into it. Point 1. Stop being available all the time. One of the biggest mistakes men make is always being available for a woman, thinking it will make her appreciate them more. In reality, it does the opposite. The more accessible you are, the less she values your presence. Women are naturally drawn to men who have purpose, direction, and a life that doesn't revolve around them. When you're always just a text away, always eager to hang out, or constantly waiting for her calls, she begins to take you for granted. Why? Because what's always available is never truly valued. A man who constantly makes time for a woman no matter what signals that he has nothing more important going on in his life. That's not attractive. Women respect and desire men who are focused on their own mission first. Now, this doesn't mean you should ignore her completely or play childish games. It means you should have a life so fulfilling that she has to earn a place in it. If every time she calls, you pick up on the first ring, or if she cancels plans and you're instantly available the next day, she knows she's in full control. And when she's in control, there's no challenge, no excitement, and no respect. Let's look at a situation where a man loses his value by being too available. A guy meets a woman he really likes. At first, she's into him because he seems confident and independent. But as time goes on, he starts prioritizing her over everything. He stops going to the gym, cancels plans with friends just to see her, and constantly asks when they can meet next. At first, she appreciates the attention, but soon she starts pulling back. She stops texting as much, takes longer to reply, and suddenly she's too busy. Why? Because he became predictable. He lost his edge. Now imagine if he had done the opposite, kept his routine, stayed focused on his goals, and let her wonder when she'd get to see him. That mystery and challenge would have kept her interested. Think about it, the men women obsess over are never the ones blowing up their phones 24/7. They are the ones who make women feel like their time is precious, because it actually is. If you don't treat your own time as valuable, why should she? So here's what you need to do: prioritize yourself first. Don't drop everything just because she texts. Don't be the guy who's always waiting. Be the man she has to work for. The moment you stop making yourself easily available, you shift the power back in your favor. 2. Stop trying to impress. Most men don't realize that the harder they try to impress a woman, the faster they lose their value in her eyes. The moment she senses that you are seeking her approval, you immediately shift the dynamic, and not in your favor. Women are naturally drawn to men who assume their own value, not men who try to prove it. The second you start over-explaining yourself, talking about your achievements, or making sure she knows how great you are, she subconsciously sees you as lower status. A high-value man doesn't need to sell himself, he lets his presence do the work. There's nothing more unattractive than a man who desperately needs validation. When a guy meets a woman and feels the need to highlight his success, constantly shower her with compliments, or agree with everything she says, she may play along at first, but over time, she starts losing respect for him. She knows what's happening, he's trying to win her over. And ironically, the moment she realizes she has all the power, she stops feeling the same attraction. Women don't fall for men who chase approval. They fall for men who don't care whether they have it or not. A man who tries too hard comes off as desperate, and desperation is the biggest killer of attraction. When you go out of your way to show her why you're a great catch, it has the opposite effect. Instead of making her value you more, it makes her wonder why you feel the need to prove yourself in the first place. A man who knows his worth doesn't try to convince anyone of it, he assumes it. Women pick up on this energy instantly. They can feel when a man is naturally confident and when he's overcompensating, and the ones who overcompensate always get left behind. Look at what happens when a man doesn't try. He doesn't force conversations. He doesn't go out of his way to impress. He's secure in who he is, and that confidence alone makes him more desirable. Instead of trying to prove himself, he focuses on being present, listening, and letting her come to her own conclusions about him. That's what makes women intrigued. That's what makes them want to earn your attention, instead of you trying to earn theirs. The biggest shift you can make is to stop performing. Stop looking for the right thing to say to get her interested. Stop trying to manufacture attraction. Just exist. Stand firm in your presence and let her feel your energy naturally. A man who carries himself like he's already the prize is treated like one. The less you try to impress her, the more she'll start trying to impress you. 3. Ignore her when she pulls away. One of the biggest mistakes men make is chasing after a woman when she pulls away. It's a natural reaction. She suddenly becomes distant, her texts slow down, or she doesn't seem as interested, and panic sets in. Most men immediately try to fix the situation. They text her more, ask if something is wrong, or try to convince her to stay engaged. But here's what they don't realize: the moment you chase, you lose. When a woman pulls away, it's a test. Whether she's aware of it or not, she wants to see how you'll react. Will you crumble and seek reassurance? Will you beg for her attention? Or will you remain unbothered and in control? A man who panics and starts over-investing, you chase. She subconsciously registers that you need her more than she needs you, and nothing kills attraction faster than a man who acts like he needs a woman to feel whole. The men who hold the most power in relationships are the ones who know their value. When a woman pulls away, they don't run after her. They don't ask, "What's wrong?" or "Did I do something?" They keep moving forward as if nothing has changed. This isn't about playing games, it's about holding your frame. Women don't respect men who let their emotions control them. They respect men who remain steady no matter what. When she senses that you're unaffected by her pulling away, something shifts in her mind. She starts wondering why you're not reacting, why you're not chasing like other men would. And that mystery pulls her back in. Most men make the mistake of thinking that if they ignore her distance, they'll lose her. But the reality is, the more you chase, the more she wants space. The more you step back, the more she starts missing you. Men forget one important truth: when a woman is truly interested, she will come back on her own. You don't need to remind her that you exist. You don't need to send a "just checking in" text. All you need to do is stay in control of yourself. If she pulls away, your response should always be the same: do nothing. Focus on yourself. Live your life. Let her feel your absence. If she's genuinely interested, she will return. If she doesn't, she was never yours to begin with. Either way, you win. 4. Become a man other women want. Women are naturally drawn to men who are desired by others. It's an undeniable truth. When a man is wanted by multiple women, his value in a woman's eyes instantly increases. On the other hand, when a man is seen as someone who no one else wants, his attractiveness drops. This isn't about playing games or making her jealous. It's about positioning yourself as a man that women see as highly valuable. Most men make the mistake of putting all their attention on one woman and hoping she sees their worth. But attraction doesn't work like that. A man who has options, who is social, charismatic, and respected, creates an energy that women naturally gravitate toward. Women don't want a man who is desperate for their attention. They want a man whose attention is a privilege to earn. Think about it. When you walk into a room and people respect you, admire you, and want to be around you, your presence alone commands attention. That's what makes a woman take notice. She wants to be the one who captures your interest, because she sees that you have choices. It's human nature. People want what is rare. And if other women want you, it signals that you bring something valuable to the table. This is why social proof matters. If you are constantly chasing one woman, she senses that no one else sees your value, and that's an instant attraction killer. But when women see you engaging confidently with others, they subconsciously assume that you must be worth something. The men who are most attractive aren't necessarily the richest or the best looking. They are the ones who women see as desirable. And let's be real, women compete. The moment they realize another woman wants you, they start looking at you differently. A man who is in demand becomes a challenge, and women love challenges. The worst thing you can do is make yourself too easy to get. If she knows you're sitting around waiting for her, she won't feel the need to win you over. But if she senses that other women are interested in you, she will naturally step up her game. This doesn't mean you have to fake anything. It simply means you should focus on building yourself up so that women naturally want to be around you. Work on your social skills. Expand your network. Be seen as a leader among your peers. Women aren't just attracted to looks, they're attracted to status, influence, and the way others respond to you. The moment she sees that you have options, she will start valuing you more. And that's the key. Become a man who doesn't need her attention but has plenty of it from others. When you do that, she'll start chasing you instead. 5. Control your emotions, control the dynamic. If there's one thing that separates a man women respect from a man they lose interest in, it's emotional control. A man who cannot control his emotions is unpredictable, unstable, and ultimately unattractive. Women may not always say it outright, but they are instinctively drawn to men who remain composed no matter what. Most men lose value in a woman's eyes the moment they let their emotions get the best of them. Maybe she says something that upsets you, and instead of responding calmly, you lash out. Or she pulls back a little, and you immediately start panicking, overanalyzing, and bombarding her with texts. What does this signal? Weakness. It tells her that you are emotionally dependent on her reactions. And once she sees that, the power shifts, she's in control and you're reacting to her every move. Women don't want to feel like they have to handle a man's emotions. They want a man who is steady, who doesn't fall apart at the first sign of trouble. And here's the truth, women will test you. They will say things just to see if you react. They might even create drama just to see how you handle it. If you get emotional, if you start pleading or arguing, you fail the test and your value drops. The moment you show that you cannot be easily shaken, the entire dynamic changes. She realizes that she cannot manipulate you, she cannot push you off balance, and suddenly she respects you more. Respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, she might still entertain you, but she will never truly admire you. Here's a real-life scenario. Let's say you're talking to a woman you're dating, and she suddenly becomes distant. Most men would immediately start questioning her, demanding answers, and seeking validation. A man who controls the dynamic, however, does the opposite. He notices the shift, but he does not react emotionally. Instead, he carries on with his life, staying calm and unbothered. Maybe she's testing him, maybe she's losing interest, but either way, he refuses to let her behavior dictate his mood. And guess what happens? She starts to feel his absence. She wonders why he's not chasing, why he's not affected, and just like that, she starts coming back. Control your emotions and you control the relationship. The moment you become reactive, you lose. Stay in control and she'll always see you as a man she cannot shake. 6. Punish disrespect with distance. Let's be brutally honest, too many men let women walk all over them. They allow disrespect, tolerate bad behavior, and make excuses for it all because they're afraid of losing her. This is one of the biggest reasons men lose value in a woman's eyes. A woman cannot truly admire a man she does not respect. And if she feels she can get away with anything, she will never see you as the kind of man she should take seriously. Disrespect comes in many forms. Maybe she talks down to you in public. Maybe she flirts with other men right in front of you. Maybe she dismisses your opinions, cancels plans at the last minute, or makes you feel like you're an option instead of a priority. And instead of calling it out or setting boundaries, most men just take it. They make excuses, she's just in a bad mood, she didn't mean it, if I say something she'll leave. This is weak behavior. Here's what most men don't realize, women test men all the time. Sometimes they do it consciously, other times it's completely subconscious. They push limits, they challenge boundaries, and they observe your response. And if your response is weak, if you tolerate the disrespect, they see you as a man who has no backbone. Once that happens, her attraction for you starts to die. The worst mistake you can make is to try to talk your way back into respect. Explaining, pleading, or hoping she'll magically realize your worth is pointless. Women don't respond to words, they respond to actions. So what should you do? Distance yourself immediately. If she disrespects you, stop giving her your presence, your attention, and your energy. Don't argue, don't explain, just pull back. If she actually values you, she will feel the loss and correct her behavior. If she doesn't care, then you just saved yourself from wasting time on a woman who never truly respected you in the first place. Here's the truth, a woman will only respect a man who respects himself. If you allow her to treat you poorly and you keep showing up, you're teaching her that her bad behavior has no consequences, but the moment you step away and show her that disrespect won't be tolerated, everything changes. Some men are afraid to walk away because they think it will push her into another man's arms. But here's what they don't get, if she's the kind of woman who would disrespect you and then immediately run to another guy, she was never yours to begin with. You didn't lose anything. Stop tolerating disrespect. Stop chasing women who don't appreciate you. If she knows she can treat you any kind of way and you'll still be there, you've already lost. But if she sees that you're the kind of man who will remove himself when he's not valued, she will either fix her attitude or lose you forever, and either way, you win. 7. Never fear losing her. One of the biggest reasons men lose their value in a woman's eyes is fear, fear of upsetting her, fear of her losing interest, fear of losing her altogether. And when a woman senses that fear, she automatically sees you as less attractive, less confident, and less of a man she should respect. Most men don't realize this, but women can feel it when a man is afraid to lose them. It's in the way he acts, constantly checking in, always seeking validation, avoiding confrontation, tolerating bad behavior just to keep the peace. And the moment she sees that you're desperate to keep her, she knows she has all the power. Here's the harsh truth, the more afraid you are of losing her, the more likely you are to lose her. Why? Because women don't respect men who cling. They don't respect men who make them their entire world. A man who is terrified of being alone is a man who lacks options, lacks self-confidence, and lacks purpose. And if you don't have those things, she will eventually look elsewhere for a man who does. You've probably seen it happen before, maybe even experienced it yourself. A guy starts dating a woman, everything is going well, but as time passes, he starts prioritizing her above everything, his goals, his friends, his own self-respect. It all takes a back seat to her. He constantly reassures her, does whatever she wants, and becomes more and more afraid of rocking the boat. And what happens? She loses interest. Suddenly she's distant, she starts making excuses, and eventually she leaves, often for a man who seems completely unbothered by whether she stays or goes. That's the kind of man you need to be, the man who knows he will be just fine with or without her. You need to operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Instead of being afraid to lose her, you need to believe that you could replace her at any time, not because you're arrogant, but because you genuinely understand your value as a man. Your life is already fulfilling. You don't need her to feel complete. When a woman senses that you're a man who doesn't fear losing her, her entire perception of you changes. Suddenly she's the one who feels the pressure to keep your attention. She starts respecting you more because she sees that you're not like every other man who begs, pleads, and chases. Attraction isn't built by trying to hold on to a woman, it's built by being the kind of man she doesn't want to lose. And that only happens when you are completely, unapologetically willing to walk away. At the end of the day, the man who values himself the most will always have the power. The moment you start fearing loss, prioritizing her over your own self-respect, or tolerating disrespect just to keep her around, you've already lost. And here's the most controversial truth. Most women don't even want a man they can completely control. They might test you, push you, and challenge you, but deep down, they admire the man who stands firm. The moment you make it clear that you're not afraid to walk away, you become the kind of man they actually respect. Women don't fall for the guy who worships them. They fall for the man who makes them work for his attention. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like you lost your value in a woman's eyes? Maybe you've been in a situation where you gave too much, tolerated too much, and ended up feeling powerless. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I read every single one of your comments and I'll be responding personally. This isn't just a one-sided conversation. I want to connect with you, hear your experiences, and help you navigate this journey of becoming a high-value man. And remember, you don't lose women by being too strong, you lose them by being too weak. The choice is yours. Stay strong, stay focused, and protect your power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.